included within his address to these leaders of that time, which still has a lot of relevancy to the day, over 2 centuries later in the year of 2024. And but let me move on to this part where he talks about which is speaking in this particular paragraph where he is addressing these clergymen. Now, it says right here, I'm gonna start at the beginning so you can get a full, clear understanding of what I'm about to go further into on this topic. Okay, having all been seated, the president, after a few preliminary observations, informed them that a sum of money had been appropriated by Congress and placed at his disposition for the purpose of aiding the colonization in some country of the people or a portion of them of African descent, thereby making it his duty, as it had been for a long time. He asks, should the people of your race be colonized and where? Why should they leave this country? This is perhaps the first question for proper consideration. You and we are different races. This right here now. Let me stop right here. This is Abraham Lincoln himself speaking. This is just the introduction toward this statement. But anyway, you and we, I'm going to repeat again, you and we are different races. We have between us a broader difference than exists between almost any other two races. Whether it is right or wrong, I need not discuss. But this physical difference is a great disadvantage to us both, as I think your race suffer very greatly, and many of them by living among us, while are suffering from your presence. Speaking of white people, feeling uncomfortable about our presence in this nation at that time and still today. In a word, we suffer on each side. If this is admitted, it affords a reason at least why we should be separated. Okay, and then I will move on to this next one, and then I will go in furthermore on what this basically is about. Okay, the president, perhaps you have long been free, or all your lives. He's talking to the freed, supposed to be freed blacks at that time who were on the plantation. Okay, talking about these clergymen leaders these clergy and leaders that he's addressing. Excuse me. Your race are suffering, in my judgment, the greatest wrong inflicted on any people. For even when you cease to be slaves, you are yet far removed from being placed on an equality with the white race. You are cut off from many of the advantages which the other race enjoy. The aspiration of man is to enjoy equality with the best when free. But on this broad continent, not a single man of your race is made the equal of a single man of ours. Go where you are treated the best, and the ban is still upon you. Okay. And then, he goes to talking about how the country was engaged in war at that time. But then here, be patient with me, family. I'm just checking out something before I go further. Okay, but for your race amongst us, there could not be a war. Talking about what was behind the purpose of the Civil War. That's what he was referencing when he said that. Although many men engaged on either side do not care for you, Confederacy and the Union side of the Army. Okay? Nevertheless, I repeat, without the institution of slavery and the colored race as a basis, the war could not have been in existence. Okay, let me stop here. All right. Okay, this clearly there tells you brothers of the Confederate South, okay, which is a component of the entire continental United States of America, right? And the nation as a whole, of course. I would say that we still see the implications today of when Abraham Lincoln warned those leaders of that time that basically through job discrimination, housing discrimination, um, wealth discrimination, the wealth gap between us as two groups of people in this country. And when he said, okay, and also too, you got to keep in mind as well, is that when he mentioned, okay, when he mentioned here that we have between us all the difference that exists between almost any other two races. Okay, now at that time we know that we can have all these different other type of groups in this country, like we see now, especially with the immigrants and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you notice, even though we have a climate situation going on now with the United States government and the president, soon to be incoming president Donald J. Trump, who will be in the White House once again. You know, that something that surrounds this crisis with the immigration issue. You got to understand and remember, them immigrants still get second-hand preferences and priority over us as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. Because, number one, when they first come over here, the first thing they're taught to say is the nigger word, or the N-word, as some of you may prefer to, censor it. But that's what they're taught. They're taught not to have nothing to do with us. They're taught that we're lazy, shiftless, and never would amount to nothing. But yet, our ancestors built this country for over 300 years, okay? Which they wasn't told that. And they also, many of them, or some of them, may or may not realize that we're the reason that they were able to get into this country. because it was a time when they wasn't letting any black or brown immigrants into this country prior to the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. Okay, but they still get firsthand or secondhand, like I said, preferential treatment over us. You don't see that many African immigrants, though they're darker than us or dark as us, and even some of the ones that do the United States coming from Latin America or the Caribbean, you don't even see them getting gunned down or murdered mercilessly like you do the typical so-called American Negro or Black American or African American, whichever way you want to look at it, in this nation. So right there again, right there back to that statement that President Lincoln made. There is a unique difference between us. Even more so, like he mentioned, than any other group of people. Because you got to understand our history with these people of over 400 years in this nation. We've been up under them. We've been on the front lines dealing with them more than these immigrants have. But that's not my concern. And really at this point, more so, I could care less at all about that. But I want to say this. The black and brown immigrants, they finna get their nigga wake up call and understand the black American experience for what it's been for all these years and for what we tried to do to warn them. So now they got to learn the hard way on their own. And you know what? I don't have no sympathy for them. And now enough is with that. I would say that when Abraham Lincoln proposed that ideal, he was trying to get us actually sent to a colony, which is the modern nation today called Panama, Central America, down in Panama. Many of you who know about Panama know about the canal. Many of you who know about Panama know about when they overthrew the former President Manuel Noriega down there, doing the so-called war on drugs and all that crap back in the 80s. Panama is known for some other things too, outside of politics, but although that nation has its own dark-skinned population, but we would have been included amongst that dark-skinned population. But like he said, we would have been more accepted at that time as equals to help establish that colony into becoming the nation that it is obviously today. Like in the case of Liberia, which was during another period of time prior to Abraham Lincoln's, delegation speech, that happened, I believe, during the 1800s, but a few decades before that, during that time of the Civil War, where they had a thing called, an organization called the American Colonization Society, where they were sending ex-slaves. Those were the ones that established from what he many people felt Abraham Lincoln owned slaves and tendencies toward sold people. I mean, hey, Thomas Jefferson, who owned slaves, and he was supposed to have been the foundation warned it worse. And he foresaw this centuries ago. And Abraham Lincoln blatantly let it be known. I even read it some years ago by myself that he even actually said that he believed that the so-called Negro could never be capable of holding public office in this nation. This is why you saw the former president Barack Obama get the treatment that he got while he was in the White House. You see these indications, you have leaders from these past generations warning what was to come and what is to come further from even this point. But every time the Caucasian gave you an open chance in our history to do something about our plight, we refused or found some excuse. Even like what he was trying to do by appropriating money through federal funds to actually put us on a colony where they even had natural resources like coal mines, which could have helped us, to economically get to the point of actually becoming a full self-sufficient nation, independently of our own. You see, and see this document, even the part out of this, like Farrakhan bringing that up. Every time he talk about politics, he'll talk about certain different things, but he don't never bring up what Abraham Lincoln said. You don't never even hear Elijah Muhammad in his old speeches bring up this historical document. I don't even think you ever heard Dr. King bring up this historical document. Marcus Garvey didn't bring up this historical document. Even some other leaders who were considered as freedom fighters over different periods of time in this nation when it comes to soul people did not ever mention this. We have mentioned a whole lot of other stuff, but we don't never mention certain more important, significant things when it comes to ideals toward our liberation. Because, and listen here, I could go any further. I could go even more further into what he was trying to say too. Because a lot of this stuff, and I read even where some black leaders disagreed with it, and some may have agreed with it, right? But the majority of them didn't agree with it. That's why this ideal didn't ever come up off the ground, of course. But, okay, hold up for a second. Okay. Okay, this is where he was telling, listen, okay, this is where he was actually telling our people, right here, telling those leaders that he was addressing at that White House delegation but you ought to do something to help those who are not fortunate as yourself, speaking of them. See, during that time, they were considered, they were considered amongst the elite of black people. You see what I'm saying? Even during the time of the Civil War, when chattel slavery was still existing in this nation. Okay? So, as I go on further, here what was said, there is an unwillingness on the might. It is exceedingly important, people. Okay, and label. It don't make no difference. Label. It don't make no difference. If like they say, if the truth fit the if the truth fit the shoe, then wear it. That's what it is. You know, and you know, I want to say that there's another thing, not getting off a topic, but it's just like saying with Trump having 34 felony convictions, now that he's about to get back into the White House, he should use his platform at this time as the president to make life better for millions of other convicted felons in this country, which people got their own mixed opinions or feelings about whether he would actually do something like that or not. But that's my example of pointing out that you have certain people in positions that if we get the right like-minded people like me and Brother Angel Snup 7 to sit at the round table with somebody with that type of power, we could actually get some things done. Because the type of leadership that's been in these White House meetings with Trump in the past, obviously, we all see how that panned out. So there, once again, we find ourselves in the same position as so people in this nation. You know, and so I just you know, to you with proposing this Mississippi campaign a little bit over 6 years ago when we first started proposing this ideal to the public, remain at least without discrimination in this country. And to some extent, even worse than our ancestors did. Because see, one thing you got to understand, our ancestors at least knew and understood directly who the enemy was. Now, we're all confused. Those some between 40 of us don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. So that's the bottom line too. Why to this that is just getting worse and worse every day. It's just getting worse and worse every day. You know? You know? Most of our younger generation, even ones now coming up into their 20s, don't really even know nothing about unquote black history in this country. And that basically lies at the responsibility of older generations like ours that came before them. You know? And now most of us in our 50s, 60s and on, so forth on, are afraid of these younger people. And you know, I remember years ago someone told me that, and it still resonates with me today. They said that it's going to come a time when the younger generation is going to attack us, older people from these present generations that we're from, because we did not sit down and teach them anything about our true history in this nation, about what our ancestors went through. You see? Because we relied on the systemic educational system to do it. But, you know, we relied on society to do it, which we see what that has panned out to be. So, This is what we got. And now we're more scared of the younger generation than ever. Some of us don't even want to talk to them. Some of us don't even want to stand next to them, you know, because of fear of what they could do, you know. And you know, I have to say that there are a lot of our younger brothers and sisters out there that are actually bitter, built with full of hate, built with full of animosity. And you know what? Uh, to an extent, I would have to say rightfully so, because we didn't stand on our two front feet, toes. We didn't stand on our two front toes. We didn't stand down on our two front toes to make sure that they were properly educated, like with they're supposed to be, and guided to actually be the leaders of our future. You see? So now, when we tried to come with the idea of the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign to put them in position, which we still advocate for, to put them in a position to where they could be the leaders of our future and to carry the rest of us on to where we need to be as an actual free people, it just fell on deaf ears. So now, unborn generations coming from amongst us as soul people, how worse do you think that's going to be from what you see right now? Because most of you don't care. Most of you don't care because you know you're going to die. You older in age, you getting older in age, health bad, you know. You ain't got very much long left here, so you really don't care. But that's a selfish way of thinking, you know. And so this is what's going on right now in this time that we're living in. And, you know, I want to say this, whether it get worse, how worse it get, as people keep talking about with Trump, listen, man, let me say this here. I don't care. Actually, I've been kind of limit watching the news since this election because, first of all, it only would drive me more crazy. Okay. And then another thing about that is that, you know, what time in history of the United States of America did black people ever go without suffering under any president in the White House? Tell me. I'm waiting. Even during the Civil Rights Movement, when them two civil rights legislation bills was passed in 1964 and 65, was not so people at that time still catching hell in this country? Okay. Our leaders was getting assassinated left and right or put in prison, even to this day. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like, man, look, you know, we have to understand and realize other people, the reason things are so, people are living in the area of so much fear right now because they're starting to learn and understand what we've been going through in the so-called Black American experience for over the past 400 years in this nation. Now they're starting really to realize what the Black American experience is now because they're about to feel it. You see, so but like I said, that's not on that part. That's not my concern. But all I was doing was making a point to let y'all know that they're beginning to see what we saw for hundreds of years. Even white people are now understanding, especially the poor class from among white people are understanding that now we see what black people in this country have been going through. Because Trump, like he did before when he was in there, and like he would do again when he's in there, he's going to show them he don't give a damn about them neither. All he needed was their vote. You see? So, but the point is further is that it has never been a time where we have never known what suffering is, what oppression is, what suppression is in this nation, okay? What anarchism is in this nation, okay? What living under a monarchy is in this country. We went through hundreds of years knowing that, more than anyone else. This is why it don't bother the average soul brother and sister in this nation. So we used to it, okay? But what we need to do still, while we still got any hell's chance in time right now, is to mobilize and get on this soul train with the ideal of the Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign, so that we could finally, once and for all, do something about our plight as a people in this country. You see? Because you see, one thing about everybody else, they're willing to fight and die or go through whatever means they have to go through to be free, which is unlikely in our case. But we need to develop that mentality, just like Abraham Lincoln told these black leaders during his speech, his delegation speech to them, you know? And so we have to understand that for what it is. And these different leaders of today ain't no different than those leaders of that time. These leaders of the day who claim to have this high supreme wisdom, knowledge, to be highly educated or more advanced than these leaders even of that time, have shown that they're not any much different from them. Just look at their track record. And that would speak for itself. What have they done since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to inspire legislation on our behalf, to get us further ahead toward freedom as an equal people in this nation? What have they done? But stand up behind a podium or rostrum every Sunday like Eric Muhammad, or every night like the Son of Man, and spew out religious scriptures from the Quran and Bible. You know? And these other lullaby, bull crap teachings, like with the Hebrew Israelites, Afrocentrism, you know, and that other foolishness, like I was following behind under Dr. Malachi Z. York years ago, you know? I mean, what have they done? If anything, they led our people further into the burning fire, like Martin Luther King said, you know? That's what they've done. At least he woke up and realized it. But they still among the living and have done nothing to rectify that action, you know? And we still look at these people as leaders today, you know? And that's crazy. We've even stooped to lower levels, even, and no disrespect to the late Tupac Amir Shakur, you know, may the dead rest in peace. But the truth of the matter is, people even looked at him or look at him as some type of national leader. They even got history about him in school curriculums across this country, teaching our Black children about Tupac Shakur, when they should be teaching them about freedom fighters like Nat Turner, David Walker, Denmark Vesey, and the list goes on. But they teaching them about people like Tupac Shakur. Come on, really? So this is why you got the kind of younger generation floating around like we do today, you know? And if we could take control of a state, we could more easily work to turn that around. But you're not ready to work, because freedom is work. Freedom means fighting. Freedom means possibly either losing your life for freedom. You see what I'm saying? All that comes with the word of freedom, liberation. But you're not ready for that. The Nation of Islam, which I would sort of reference, and the Universal Negro Improvement of Association / UNIA under Marcus Mosiah Gari was the closest thing to when you seen Black people willing to get out there and do work. But even then, that turned out just to be about fame, glory, you know, grandiose standing, you know, how much money you got, how much wealth you got. Money, wealth, prestige, all that. That's why when Malcolm X woke up and separated himself from that, that's why he had to die. Because now, as far as they was concerned, speaking of the Nation of Islam, this nigga had to go. No disrespect intended upon Malcolm X, nor his family, but that's the way they saw it. Because he was about really trying to liberate our people. More so than they was. He was really trying to liberate our people. And if it wasn't for him, and I know it's been said on this platform numbers of times, but if it wasn't for him, the Nation of Islam wouldn't even be what it is today. And they know it. Those in the nation know it, and the rest of the world know it. You know, so we definitely need to understand that we're faced with a do or die situation. You know, it's about do or die. That's what we had to show people in 2024 going into 2025. And with that said, you know, I do not want to get tongue-tied, because I didn't know if the brother wanted to speak or anything. But I will, out of respect for him, since he's hosting this live stream, I will yield my mic to him and see where we go for a topic, because many people again need to understand that in the past up to now we had opportunities to actually free ourselves, and ain't nobody holding us back like many of you blacks in the pro-black conscious community or in general say. Ain't nobody holding us back but us. And with that said, once again, I yield my mic.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Let me get this, do something here. All right, where's the other thing at? Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I want to just thank you for coming here and giving us a little something, I guess, before the end of the year. We're getting ready to go into 2025. So I don't know what's going to happen in 2025. None of us know what's going to happen. But we're going to give our last commentary before that New Year's ball falls down. I want to thank everyone who took the time to listen to our Soul Liberation Day message. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of folks out there. They may not consistently listen to what we have to say all year round, but for some reason they will give me an opportunity Soul Liberation Day. I noticed that the views, wherever I put Soul Liberation Day, I noticed the views are pretty decent. So I want to thank everyone for sharing that message, and for those who have took the time to share the message with others in their life. I appreciate, it's always an honor that you would give us this opportunity. I say that all the time, that I thank you for sharing, listening to our message. I want to say this in relation to the topic brother has chose for this evening. As I have heard a few times where speakers have talked about what Abraham Lincoln had to offer the brothers and sisters, our ancestors, and they make mockery and call the clergy, they call the ones who at that time was our leadership, they called them out of their names, Coon, Sambo, and all this other negative stuff. And because they rejected what not Dr. King, what Abraham Lincoln was saying. I want to make this point. If you're so upset with what those men, and probably not women, because as you know, we really don't allow women to have any kind of voice. We push anything women have to say or think, we just push that to the side, don't mean anything. So chances are Abraham Lincoln was speaking to black American men, and they rejected the offer or the proposal that Abraham Lincoln was talking about. And there are those, again, who want to call those people names. So, if you're so dead set, and they were wrong holding that position, if I was there, I would have said this to Abraham Lincoln and blah, blah, blah. Why are you still here in America? You here right with them. And there's nothing stopping you from going to Africa, Panama, Liberia, China, Thailand, Vietnam, wherever the hell you want to go. Get your ass on a plane or a boat and buy. You still right here. So how the hell you got the nerve to talk about that was a bad idea? Well, here you are, you're free. With plenty of education. A lot of y'all make a lot of money. I was just reading an article. You can go to Panama. Brother Taalib was talking about Panama, so I looked up Panama. You can go $1,000 a month and live pretty decent in Panama. You can go to Thailand. You can go to Vietnam. You can go to Mexico. Get your ass out of here. Since these men that you talk about, their decision making was so terrible, here you are in a better position than they are. Get the hell out. There's nothing stopping you. But you're going to stay here and complain till I go to Africa. How many of these people we done heard for years and years and years about going to Africa? They still here with us. Because I've never said that. I've never said I want to go to Africa or any other country. I've never said that. And if I made a suggestion back in the day, prior to our Vision of Mississippi campaign, I talked about, and I don't know if you was around at that time to live, but I suggested Liberia.
Yeah, I do. I that's when I met you.
Okay.
When you was yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Liberia. Your ass ain't with the Liberia either. And they did not embrace that idea either. They don't embrace anything. They just like to run their damn mouth. They're not going to do nothing. See, that's the bottom line. Just like you said, Taalib, they're not going to do nothing. Because to do something means you're going to have to sacrifice. Now, as individuals, I can go to Panama. As an individual, I can go live in China. As an individual, I can do a lot of things as an individual. But when you suggesting and telling an entire 40, 50 million people, oh, this is what they should do, that's a whole different ball game. Why you think America didn't do it? That's too much damn work. It's easier now. We have jet planes and these large boats. They didn't have that during the time of Abraham Lincoln. How are we going to move all these thousands and millions of folks? Very expensive. Plus, they going to run. Ain't nobody going to stand. Majority of them not going to stand still. They're gonna hide. Just like we don't know how many immigrants really is in this country. We don't know because a lot of people, if they're illegal, they're not going to tell you, and they're going to hide. Just like the Underground Railroad. We have an Underground Railroad with the new immigrants right now. And since you don't want to do the work, you don't want to pick grapes, you don't want to pick apples, you don't want to pick bananas, you don't want to kill the cows for your taco, and these types of jobs, you don't want to sweep, you don't want to mop. You too fancy for that. Well, these people come and take them out of the country. Somebody said on the news, I don't think Donald Trump want to do all that what he talking about. Because you start taking these people out of here, you're going to find out how important they are. Because they doing the job, they're doing the jobs that you don't want to do. And you'll find out how important they are. Because you better than that. So they washing dishes, picking cotton, doing whatever. And you'd rather be sitting on your ass with an EBT card. You don't hear about them? Well, yes, they do. They can get EBT too. And they also out there picking tomatoes. But see, the thing about the Mississippi campaign, all the work that you're doing for yourself. I understand that we had a certain attitude when our work was for somebody else. You're going to work for what is in the best interest of yours. Your children that you claim that you love for a better place and position in life than you do. But you, like Brother Taalib said in his talk, he don't give a damn about no generations, because a lot of these folks, they old, getting ready to die anyway. You on your own. Just like the American forefathers, they knew that the black slave was going to be a problem one day. They said, well, we'll let the young whites, our next generation, they'll handle that. Right now, we're going to enjoy slavery. We're going to enjoy all the wealth that all this free labor is giving us. We'll let them deal with it. And that's how many of us do. We spit these babies out. If they survive, they survive. They don't, they don't. And you know there's a possibility some going to go to prison. There's a possibility some going to get caught up in prostitution and drugs and law. You don't give a damn. As long as you have enjoyed yours. You don't care what happens to the next generation. I'm drinking my clean water now. Oh, but if you don't take care of the water, it'll be dirty for them. I don't care. It's just like sometimes when you go to these buffet places. And I don't like messing around with these buffet places because you got these folks that's disrespectful. They want to play around the food. They don't care about who come behind them. They don't watch their damn ragged ass children. As long as you take care of me. But again, like I said, you can go. There's nothing stopping these people to go to Africa. That whole group of folks that came on this platform talk about Africa. Where they at? Tell them where they at.
They are here in the great old United States of America.
They ain't went nowhere. Matter of fact, they invested in America. Creating a business in America, not in Africa, not in Mexico, not in China, in America. I'm not going to tell you about moving to Africa and I don't invest in Africa. Create a business in Africa. And I don't move my ass to Africa. That's just entertainment. Feel good stuff. Nothing but a form of religion. That's all it is. They don't go. But see, this is what you have to understand. Now see, I'm guilty. I used to think that way too at one time. But see, I would in my state of mind, like many of you are. I was a regurgitator. Listening to Farrakhan, listening to Elijah Muhammad. I was a listener. And I just repeated basically what they said. Wasn't my own thoughts. I just repeated like a lot of these folks. That's why they always said Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. Because they copying and regurgitating what they heard from them. They don't self-discover nothing. Because when you begin to think for yourself and begin to discover on your own, it might come in conflict with what they talked about because they lived in a different time. We are in similar circumstance, but it's a different time. There's a reason why Marcus Garvey failed. There's a reason why Elijah Muhammad failed. There's a reason why the civil rights movement failed. And instead of concentrating on why did they fail, we just copy what they do. And if you copy what they do, you're going to fail because that's what happened. These people cannot even replicate what Dr. King, what Marcus Garvey, what Elijah, they can't replicate it. No, brother. You wrong. I got him again. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan Minister Farrakhan is nothing compared to what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm built. He's nowhere close. He's just an entertainer. He brings in thousands of people. But see, Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad didn't have social media. Farrakhan has social media, Facebook, all this kind of good stuff. There's a lot of things Farrakhan has that, and also Elijah Muhammad didn't deal with a lot of churches. Mr. Farrakhan make friends with the people in the church and celebrities and all. Elijah Muhammad didn't do all that. Because as far as Elijah Muhammad was concerned, I'm the shizit. You come to me. I'm not going to Beyonce and Jay-Z. I'm not going to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson gonna come to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because I'm the messenger of God. The hell with all that. I'm the shizit. I'm the head Negro in charge. Farrakhan put on a big show, but he did not and has not replicated what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm done. The new Black Panther Party, as new as it is, nothing. They created nothing like what Huey P. Newton and Eldridge Cleavage to what the original Black Panther Party done. Nowhere close. You can put all these factions of Nation of Islam together. They don't come nowhere close to what Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm did. And these Pan-Africans, definitely not nothing compared to the old Marcus Garvey UNIA. They nothing, period. Matter of fact, they confused as hell. They even making up new versions of UNIA, Pan-African nationalism, all kinds of different names. But let me tell you this. How long have we been here in America? Been here a long time. What must be understood, this is all we know. So Abraham Lincoln is coming to people and telling these people, well, you can go to a better place. You won't be abused. You'll get treated better. Yeah, that's nice. This all I know is America. I've been here 200, 300 years. Not 300 days. My mama died here. My grandpappy died here. Our blood, sweat, and tears has died here. We built this nation. It's mine just as much as it is yours. That's their attitude. I'm not going to just give this up. You can't take the cemetery with you. So I'm going to go to Africa, but my mama and my grandparents, everybody is in the graveyard here. Some brothers and sisters have land that's been in their family for over 100 years. I'm supposed to just leave here. And see, this is not, you might think that it's a sickness, it might be a sickness, but you got to understand also, there are people who are in abusive relationships. They don't leave. Why they don't leave? Because I'm abused. I get 3 meals a day. The bills are paid. I get hit in the mouth now and then, but this is all I got. This is what I'm used to. For years. So you're going to tell these people to go to a foreign land and start all over again. Next thing you know, you've been in a civil war, because that's what happened in Liberia, ain't it? Because those black folks got over to Liberia, think they better than the Africans that was already there. And wherever the black American go, you stick your nose up and you think you better. I hear black people, black Americans talk about Africa, think they smarter than the people that was born there. Well, brother, you sort of wrong. How would they mean you tell them wrong? I was born in Senegal. I was born in the Sudan. I was born in the Congo. How the hell a black American nigga gonna tell me about Africa? I was born in Egypt. And here comes some Negro, well, my brother, Africa, and you want to talk about the civilization. I was born there. But this is how arrogant we are. And we're a reflection of these people because they're arrogant too. And we are a reflection and a copy of them. Yeah, you can go to Africa and you're going to have problems because you're arrogant. You think you know it all. you're going to teach them. They're not going to tolerate you talking about, hey, I'm teaching you, you smarter than them. They're not going to do that. And another thing they don't like talking about, when black Americans go to Africa, they don't want to talk about some of us who have been killed by Africans over there because of that. And they exploit you. A piece of fish costs $2. They'll sell it to you for $8 because you are an American. They have a name for us over there. Call us white people. Because they know what you are. You're not no African. How you going to be an African, a so-called African, and you wasn't born there. You don't know nothing about it. You don't have no... When we go to Africa, we go there as tourists, and there's nothing going to change that. You're going to say that you're a tourist or I'm a businessman. That's all you're going to be. You're not a citizen. And we played on this platform not too long ago where a sister talked about how much money, I think she was in Ghana, all the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that they charge for you to be a citizen over there. And they just keep ripping you off. Because see, the thing about this African DNA stuff and this African, it's like a person that want to know their father. So you got all these suckers. Well, you know, I grew up with your daddy. They're not going to tell you for free. They're going to charge you something so that you can know about your daddy. And they never met your dad. They're just going to tell you that. Because all of us, I'm not going to say all of us because some of us don't give a damn. But there are some of us, we want to know our origins. We want to know our father, our biological father, our biological mother, our ancestors. If we did come from Africa, I want to know where... See, you have people that exploit this. They exploit you. But again, you still here in America. That was a bad idea for us to reject what Abraham Lincoln, but this is all that we know. And you still here. Go, leave, bye. Nothing stopping nobody. Go to Mexico and pick some tomatoes to survive. Whatever you got to do. Since we should not have rejected, those leaders should not have rejected what President Lincoln said or offered, then you can go to another country and pick you some tomatoes, wash some dishes in the country or whatever. But again, you get $1,000 a month, you can go to these countries and live pretty decent. I even see videos. Brothers and sisters move to Thailand and Vietnam and places like that. They put on a show. Because how the hell can you live in the United States all your life and all of a sudden it's so wonderful? You have people like Michael Jackson. You have people like Jay-Z and Beyonce and Oprah Winfrey. They've been all over the world. Where do they live? Tina Turner ended up there because she fell in love with a white man overseas. That's the only reason why Tina Turner ended up over there. All your stars, Stevie Wonder talk all that African stuff. Far as I know, Stevie Wonder is still here. Because this is our home. It's nice to go to these places and visit. This is our home. This is where our mama died. This is where my daddy died. Grandfather. I just went to the graveyard where most of my relatives are at. And clean up the headstones and things of this nature. What are we supposed to do? Dig up their caskets and take them to Africa some damn where? This is our home. And this is why the Mississippi campaign is more realistic, because it keeps you home. But it can also make you independent. It also makes you a force to be reckoned with. But it wasn't time. It wasn't time during the time of Marcus Garvey. It wasn't time during the time of Malcolm. They did what they done so that we could be where we're at now if we understood where things went wrong. You have to have a different attitude, a different mindset. You have to look at things differently. You want to stay where they at in 1930. And you're doing worse. You really are in a worse position than they were. I want to say this also. When I first heard Thriller, and many of you know that I'm a Michael Jackson fan. Many of you know I'm a Michael Jackson fan. But when I first heard Thriller, the biggest selling album of all time, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's still the biggest selling album, 140 million records sold. Michael Jackson is gone. Michael Jackson made more money than Beyonce and Taylor Swift. He made $600 million this year, and Michael is not even here. Almost $1 billion. But when I first heard Thriller, I'm a Michael Jackson fan, I didn't like it. I got it. Matter of fact, I didn't even buy it. I listened to it from a friend. And when I listened to it for the first time, I was like, I'm glad I didn't buy this crap. I call Thriller crap. I listened to Billie Jean. I'm like, Listen to Beat It. I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this? I wasn't used to Michael. I wasn't used to the Jackson. What is this? This is not soul. What is this stuff that Michael doing? I didn't understand. I did not like Thriller. I did not like In Vogue. They on my wall. When I first heard In Vogue, I did not like them. I did not like In Vogue. I liked the short black dresses they was wearing. I did not like Hold On. Hold on to my love. And I still really don't like Hold On. I did not like In Vogue. I did not like Thriller. There was a time I did not like potatoes. The only potatoes I did eat was McDonald's French fries. I did not like potatoes. I did not like Thriller. Sam I Am. I did not like In Vogue. Sam I Am. I did not like Potato Sam. Why am I telling you this? See, a lot of us are childish. And you give somebody something new. You know, you tell your child to eat the vegetables or whatever. I don't eat that. I don't like. You don't even know it. I don't like broccoli. I don't like green beans. I don't like. That's the way we act. You haven't even tasted it yet. I don't like. We love to say that. I don't like Angel Snap 7, that Reality's Temple. Just the Mississippi campaign. What is the Mississippi campaign? Don't listen. Don't know what it's about. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know what the Reality's Temple is about. I don't like that. I don't like Thriller. I don't like. But see, that's the difference between you and me. I kept listening to Thriller. See, I'm not you. I did not like Thriller. But I like Michael Jackson. I said, well, I never liked all Michael Jackson's records anyway. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and listen to this crap. I kept calling it crap, but I kept listening. I still don't like Hold On. I kept listening to these ladies. And I did not like Terry I did not like Terry Ellis when they first came out. I liked Cindy first. I didn't like Terry Ellis. We always talk about what I don't like. But we don't know. How do you really know? You ain't try, you don't know. I don't like Thriller. But I kept listening to Thriller. I kept listening to Billie Jean. And Beat It. Then when Michael came out with the video for Billie Jean,